Morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel and thank you for joining me for another monthly net worth update. If you're new here, my name is Brittany Morrigan and I'm currently living in New Zealand on a working holiday visa with my partner Donovan. I am coastFIRE, which means I have enough invested that I don't need to add any more money into my retirement accounts in order to live a comfortable life at age 65 in Canada. It also means that I only have to work enough to cover my basic expenses. So let's go ahead and jump into the numbers. To recap from October, my net worth at the end of last month was $119,860. And we're going to start with the equity that I hold in the condominium I own back in Calgary, and that sits at $54,410. This is an increase month over month of about $442. I have tenants that currently occupy that property back in Calgary, so the increase is pretty much the same every month, and this will continue until my mortgage renewal in 2025. My RRSP, which is where I hold the majority of my retirement savings, sits at $50,671. And if you're new here, I invest almost exclusively in the Vanguard All Equity Fund, ticker code VEQT. This is up month over month, $2,980. I actually haven't added any funds into this account in probably 2 years, so it's just going up and down with the market. And the market last month was really quite down, so I'm really happy to see that it's recovered for November. Next on the list is my DCPP. This is a defined contribution pension plan, which is left over from a previous job I had in Canada. That sits at $3,701. That's an increase month over month of $213. And again, I don't put any money into this account, so it's just moving with the market. My TFSA tax-free savings account sits at $10,188. This is a decrease of $1,237, and we're going to cover why that went down in just a minute. The vehicle that I own with my partner in New Zealand is still valued at $1,500, and then the last item on this list is my cash account, which sits at $4,840. So this is a pretty substantial increase of $3,052. So let's talk about the reasons why these accounts have moved around. Well, like I mentioned, the markets have really recovered and they've been doing really quite well. When my personal investments were at their high in November, I ended up selling about $1,800 worth of VEQT. This is to cover some future expenses because I'm not working quite enough to cover my base expenses at the moment. I did get really lucky in when I sold this stock, so I'm really happy that I did it when I did. Just went with a gut feeling that I should sell it when it was doing really well. So that ended up pretty good. Our grand total net worth for November 2023 is $125,310. That's an increase from October of $5,450. So we're back up over the $120,000 mark, which is amazing. I really didn't want to dip below that while living in New Zealand. So I'm really happy that the markets recovered and seem to be holding quite strong. Let's hope for a strong December and to finish the year off even better than where we are right now. Let's talk about income for the month of November. As per usual, I make $500 Canadian in income every month from the rental property I own in Calgary. I earned $200 in Brim credit card points this month from the signups that I got on a video that I made a few months ago now. I'll link it here, but it's basically the best Canadian travel credit card. It's not sponsored in any way. I just have like a buddy code, so every time someone signs up for one of those cards, I get $20 in points, and then they get $10 in points, and that's actually been doing really well. So typically I will use those points to cover things like travel or expenditures that come up and are kind of random and I'm not planning for. So thank you so much if you are one of the ones who signed up for one of those cards. I also ended up making about $993 at my hop farm job, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that job in a minute, but that is the Canadian equivalent because obviously I don't make Canadian money here. I just do the conversion from my New Zealand dollars. And that brings the total income for November to 1,693 Canadian dollars. So that's another reason why my net worth has gone up a little bit because I am working again. I do have a bit more income coming in. Getting into life updates now. So let's start with the fact that we just hit 3,000 subscribers in the last month. So thank you so much if you're new here. Thank you even more if you've been here for a while. I hope you're really enjoying coming along with us to explore New Zealand and also just getting to know myself and Donovan as people. It's been amazing having you along for the ride, and I can't thank you enough for the support, for the kind comments, for connecting with some of you on Instagram. If you guys don't already follow me on Instagram, I'll link it down below and in the description. I do try to post pretty frequently on there, so you'll get more like up-to-date information about what we're doing and where we are if you're interested. It's also a great place for you guys to actually reach out to me because I know YouTube doesn't have like a direct message thing, but Instagram does. I love chatting with you guys, so definitely connect with me on there if you want to. Let's talk about the hop farm job. I did make a video pretty recently about my experiences working on a hop farm in the Nelson, Tasman region. It's been a little up and down, but I can say that it's definitely improved since that really horrible day that I had. My boss has been really quite friendly and accommodating and is actually like teaching me stuff at this point. So I'm thinking it really was just an off day. I've really been loving the work. I'm not working a whole lot. I'm working maybe 2 to 3 days a week. Sometimes I don't work at all for like an entire week. It really just depends on how the plants are doing and everything, which is just perfect for me. I'm really loving the work. I'm super looking forward to harvest season, which is in March, I believe. So I do think I'm going to stick with it as long as things continue to be really good. So upcoming travels, let's chat a little bit about that because I'm sure you guys have noticed we haven't really been traveling over the last little bit. We did go to Wellington and Dunedin, but since then we've been just kind of getting into the day-to-day grind, making money and saving up for future trips. So the two biggest trips, I guess you could say, that we want to do is to go to the northern tip of the South Island, which is about a 2.5-hour drive from here. I believe it's called Cape Farewell. I've done just a little bit of research on this, so bear with me if I'm missing a few things, but we want to go up there and check out the beach, the iconic windows background beach, get some cool photos there, maybe do some like night photography. That'd be really cool. And the next trip we really want to do is a West Coast road trip. We haven't been really down the West Coast of the South Island or the North Island actually, but because we live on the South Island, we'd like to do the West Coast down here, go down to Fox Glacier, Franz Josef, I don't know which way you say that one, but glowworms as well. We haven't seen glowworms in New Zealand yet. That was something I always wanted to do since like high school, researching moving to New Zealand. So that's something high up on the list, and I do think you can do that in Hokitika for free. So that's definitely a must-do once we do that trip. We'd like to go back to areas like Lake Tekapo. I think we're gonna do like a whole loop, go down the West Coast and then come up through the mountains. Hoping we can do that maybe over the Christmas break, which let's talk about Christmas actually. That's a good segue into Christmas. It just doesn't feel like Christmas. I'm having a really hard time wrapping my head around the fact that Christmas is like a few weeks away and it's hot and it's sunny. Just, I can't really like mentally get there. It's also really strange around the holidays not having friends or family around. I think that's playing into why it doesn't quite feel like Christmas. But going into the shops and seeing all the Christmas things out, all the decor, all the music playing and everything, it's just a very different experience. I just don't think it's gonna feel like Christmas to us. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you might not know that I have a pretty well-established patio garden right now. It's actually doing so well. I very recently did like a mini harvest off of my sweet pea plant and they were so delicious. Things grow absolutely incredibly in New Zealand, like so quickly, so well. It's kind of insane. That's been amazing. It's been a really nice hobby to have on the side. And I did recently do a video on homebrewing. So yesterday I did another homebrew. It was a lot more enjoyable not filming it, actually just getting into the groove, and fingers crossed again that beer is going to turn out. The first one was actually quite good. And the last thing I wanted to bring up in this life update thing is not really a life update, but I just wanted to mention how strong the sun is in New Zealand. Like now that we're going into summer and sitting on our patio when it's like, I don't know, 20 degrees out, if the sun is right on you, like holy smokes, I just burn to a crisp. Like I'm pretty pale. I have like reddish hair. I burn really quickly, really easily. And even if I slather on like so much sunscreen, I'll get pink immediately when the sun hits me. I don't burn, I just get like a sun rash, but it's wild. Like I can't even really describe it. It's something you have to experience for yourself. Like I've been down to Mexico and certain parts of Europe that are really hot and it's just not the same. Like it's so freaking hot. Like don't get me wrong, Canada can get way hotter in temperature compared to New Zealand. It doesn't have that nice breeze coming off the water, but the sun is so much stronger here. So much stronger here. And you have to be really careful. Like skin cancer is a big problem in New Zealand because of this. And I pretty much always wear a hat when I go out. I don't really have the option to not do that. I hope we survive the summer. Wish us the best in surviving this New Zealand sun. Thank you so much for joining me for another net worth update. I hope you guys are having a really great month and looking forward to seeing you in December for some adventures. See you next time.